Oh, it was Power here to review the Kamen Rider Ghost DX Mugen Ghost Eyecon. This is the final form power-up item, the final form item of Kamen Rider Ghost himself to transform him into his Mugen Damashi. Why am I phrasing that weirdly? And they basically took the Tokon Boost box, but it's actually reasonable this time because of how large this thing is. Obviously you get Mugen Damashi itself, and you know, you get the infinity, rainbow isms. Just a really nice overall decent box, and again all the features of the icon and such. So here we have the icon out of its package, and as you can see from it, it's actually back to a standard Ghost icon. Now it just has this entire thing sticking out of it, which I don't mind at all. I do genuinely like how they were able to like go back and look at the go back to a standard Ghost icon, but like find ways of making it unique and such. Obviously, as you can see, we have a huge infinity sign like so, and like I really like the clear plastic. It's a really interesting shade of like cyan and such, or like teal. But QR code for gum brazing number 23, and then here's the big top sticker. Obviously this one's infinite, and then this one's Mugen Ghost. I really do like the extra, or the background for this one, and the pins. And obviously we do have, like, because of how this one's made, this one actually can have the 4 panels. So here's the iris, which is now a rainbow. Then we have the number, infinite. There we have the Damashi face of Mugen Damashi. I apologize if you can't really see those. And then we have the Omega Drive, which is basically the same, but now has a bunch of infinities, or hexagons. So if I can actually do grab the right icon, here's the Ori Ghost icon once again. Again, basically the same base, just a lot more bigger. And the clickiness is actually kind of different, as this one is definitely a lot clickier. This one has a the click on this one is definitely interesting. And I also forgot to mention there's this like X sign. Like again, all the different details on here is pretty interesting, but you know, the iris, and then the Omega Drive, which surprisingly they actually truncate that one. Interesting. Yeah. So we should get to the sounds now, because obviously it's a final form item. We do have a lot of sounds on its own. So here's the activation sound. I really do like how this entire section gets lit up and such. And we do have 7 phrases from Takaru himself. Great. I guess I took too long. So let's just reset that. I'm pretty sure that was 5. I really do like how they're different like colors and such. And if you want to cycle this back to the iris, we have to do the entire cycle again. So yeah. So obviously the first phrase is Takaru's like signature like phrase. And then I'm trying to remember the second one. No, but the first 2 were. It's like I'll believe myself and such. And then you got henshin. Then you have like a grunt, like a hit sound, which is pretty neat. And then we have the like, oh yeah, the spirits are within us kind of thing. So let's take a look at this in the Ghost Driver. So obviously, just transform like so. Activate the Ghost icon. And insert it like so, and close it. So here we have the standby of Mugen, which is a more angelic version, operic version of the traditional standby. Obviously when we pull it back, nothing is affected. And then pay attention to the LEDs. So there we have the transformation of Ghost Mugen Damacy, which I really do like overall. I think the best part about this obviously are the LEDs, of just how they actually correlated the LEDs for Mugen along with the Ghost Driver and such. It's really neat, especially because with the like Deep Spectre, for example, the light combination was interesting, but obviously like the lights did not correlate with what the Ghost Driver had programmed, just because obviously the Ghost Driver doesn't know what to exactly pulsate until, not until, it just doesn't, because obviously this is made before the form is actually completely conceptualized. And again, I really do like how this does carry over the attributes of Togon Boost, Necrom, Deep Spectre, and now this. I feel like they kind of went a bit backwards. I don't really like the fact that the Mugen Shinka sound doesn't activate right when you insert it. I get it's just because this is their best way of lining the two sounds up. But honestly, I feel like, it doesn't really line up as well as like Deep Spectre, of like just inserting it here in Mugen Shinka, closing it up, so then that round up sound starts, then the stand up starts. I'm not too big on how they did it here, where it just says Mugen Shinka and then just jumps straight to the standby. Really not too big on that. But despite that, I really do think this icon looks interesting in this driver, especially because now it actually, because of the fact that it's already poking out of the driver, I think it actually utilizes space really well. like the two, I actually also forgot to state that like the two, like the driver and the icon really do look pretty good together and such. So now the main gimmick of Mugen is that Tucker is allowed to like pull from his emotions, and basically based off of the 7 Gongun saber combinations, he can do new powerful renditions of those finishers. So when we pull this back, you can see that this is actually going to cycle through 7 colors, and then when we choose one, it will do that finisher. So we'll wait on it until it goes back to yellow. So yellow, I don't know the first phrases of these finishers, but basically this is the, it's extreme, so we have to assume this is the finisher for the Naginata mode. And then, basically to do the Inochi Daikaigans, you have to push this in every 3 times, so... So that one I guess I am able to like at least catch. That one's the Hikari Slash, which is obviously for the Gun Saber in Nitoryu mode. Nitoryu is from the Fusoken Hayate, so that doesn't work. So this one's for the Gun Saber in sword mode. I am kind of... I don't know why they chose this order, but oh well. And obviously, you're not going to be able to correlate the icon to the sounds, because obviously, I think they're supposed to be on the Omega Drive face, but... or the, like, Mugen face, I don't remember. Really do appreciate how the LED still stays up and goes out at the same time as the Ghost Driver. I think that one was the Tamashi Strike, which is for the Gun Saber and Gun mode, even though it's orange, so that's why it was throwing me off. This one's for gun mode. The other one was for arrow mode. That's the one he always did. Yeah, again, this is what it's supposed to be. Or this one. And then there's the impact one for the... well, I mean, it's kind of funny we have the two, like, range weapons, or the 3 range modes all together and such, and I think we have one more. And there we got the Love Bomber and such. So those are all the 7 emotional attacks and such. And then after this, we'll get the Omega Drive and the Omenema. Just kind of, it works like Deep Spectre. You don't have to do it up to 3 times for the Omenema and such. And for the sake of this, I'll only just show them side by side. As you can see, thing too is that you can tell you're in this mode when it's just a white LED. Again, like, I really like that they did this and such. Just really nice. And again, the Omenema. Just really nice overall. That they really took this into consideration. Really rarely they do. So yeah, that's basically all the Mugen Ghost Eyecon does. Basically, this one works differently just because it has this system. Basically, there's a button there's an obvious button that basically gets hit when you insert it. So, yeah. What is this? Anyways, my thoughts overall on the Mugen Ghost Eyecon. It's a really neat ghost icon and such. Obviously, like, obviously it's not the Eyecon Driver G, but that thing's a belt, so that thing's more of a driver than like an icon itself. So it's just like, you know, I think it makes sense that they decided to go like, you know, go back to the Ghost Driver and such, because it's like, how are you gonna power up the Eyecon Driver G more? Also, it's just like, you know, I like the idea of like Mugen and such, and just like all of its attacks. I really do like this thing actually does call back to all those weapon configurations, and essentially make kids, you know, a reason to actually make kids dig those toys out and such. And just, you know, I think it does enough. And I really do, again, I really appreciate the light coordination that they did for this one. That they actually bothered to like look back at what the Ghost Driver did and program it into this thing and such. Again, like what I said, my only nitpick about it is just how it works within, just how, you know, the process of transforming into Mugen works, just because it's not how I would want to handle it, because I just prefer what Deep Spectre has. I just prefer how Deep Spectre handled it, and I still think it's the only one that handled it pretty well. Like, yeah, again, I don't know. I feel like the only way they can really fix like the sound insertion, like in the extra phrase insertion point, and then when you flip it up, it does standby. I feel like literally the only way they can resolve that is like whenever they do CSM, is that those sounds just have to be pre-programmed into the belt itself at that point, which obviously will take away the whole point of the icon. But at the same time, it's literally the only like way to like resolve that issue and to like have that clean play without having to like, you know, wait for the Mugen Shinka to play and then close it up and like have Bachimina chanting at you right when you close it up and such. Like, I get it. Other than that, I highly do recommend this icon and Final Form item as a whole. This should be, I think this is one of the more cheaper Final Form items. I think this one was one of my first, definitely. I really don't remember, but this one I got for like $20 new, I believe. So I do recommend you picking this thing up. That'll have to do with this review, says Power and OV people. This was too long.